What's going on, everybody? K to the 2 here with PPL Division 1 Season 6. This is Week 2. We are going up against Kelly, under-the-radar coach of his Maryland Torterrapins, in his last game of the PPL. He decided that this would be his last game to play in the PPL, and I have the pleasure of being able to battle him for the first time, and also probably the last time ever. So that's kind of unfortunate that the only game that we're ever going to play is going to be this one, because he definitely is not giving it his all, just because he doesn't want to be in the PPL, which is fine, understandable. So, like, we're just gonna do our best, pretty much. I decided to bring a lot of fat and then a weakness policy Zygarde. Basically fat so I don't lose, and then Zygarde so I win. So yeah, that's what I'm bringing. Check out the Pokepaste down below to check out what I'm bringing. Next thing I'm going to cover is that I have not felt well for about a week, so bear with me through this commentary, please. That's an example of what might happen. Things that I'm bringing in this game, I'm just going to look at what's on the screen and go over each one. Trevenant is Sub-Leech Seed Harvest Colberberry with Horn Leech and the X-Scissor. X-Scissor is super effective against Celebi and Hydreigon. Horn Leech hits everything else on his team at least neutrally. Leech Seed is there to be annoying. Colberberry is nice for a few things on his team, especially the Mienshao, which he didn't end up bringing. Would have been great because I didn't really have a decent enough Mienshao switch in, and being able to take knockoffs basically for free is great. And I can get my Colberberry back. And the way that Colberberry works with knockoff is that you consume the berry rather than it getting knocked off, so then harvest can still work. So that's basically Trevenant. It's annoying to his team. Everything on his team pretty much gets hit really hard by it, except for Toxapex and Miltank, which I can just be annoying with and end up switching out against. So that's that. Next up is Audino, because I didn't feel like losing to Hydreigon, or not losing to it per se, but also I want to protect my Zygarde if I only get the +1. If I get the +2, he's pretty much, there's nothing he can do, but if I only get the +1 and he has a Scarf Hydreigon, that'll be his only out, so that's why I ended up bringing Audino here. It can switch in, it is max specially defensive, and it has Dazzling Gleam, so I can kill the, maybe not kill it, but it does a lot of damage to the Hydreigon, so it can kill it, well, it can't kill me, you know, normal stuff. So next up we have a Bronzong. He had made transactions this week to bring in Magneton and Monferno, dropping his Salazzle and Magnemite. So the Bronzong, before he brought in Magneton, was like a really meta set. It was Shed Shell just so I can dodge him potentially being Gravity plus Arena Trap for the trio in order to kill the Bronzong, because Bronzong is like my main check to Diancie on the team. It's another thing that I want to use to protect Zygarde in case I don't get set up, or it's just like Diancie's like really threatening to my team overall. So bringing a Spadef Bronzong was the option there, and I have Rocks and Toxic on it. But I do have the Shed Shell to dodge the Gravity plus Arena Trap, but then he ended up bringing in Magneton, which just made it even easier. Or made it even easier on Bronzong to escape, and I brought Double Ground in case he ended up bringing Magneton. Spoiler, he didn't, so I don't have to worry about that. But I do have it for the main reason that I had it in the first place. It was going to be leftovers. Bronzong just to keep it healthy, but the only thing I'm really going to bring it in on is the Diancie. And if Diancie's already gone against Bronzong, I can use Bronzong pretty liberally and use it however I want. So that's going to be Bronzong. That's it. Next up we have a physically defensive Quagsire. It's just a Quagsire. It does things. It just, you know, has the normal power-up punch plus dual stab, you know, something normal that you see on Quagsire all the time. Power-up punch on the Quagsire allows me to hit the Toxapex and get my +1 as it switches in case that he wants that to be a switch in. Like, say Celebi's already gone, or I make a prediction and show Ice Punch on the Celebi or Hydreigon as they come in and he doesn't want to stay in. or maybe they're just already gone, whatever. But +1 EQ allows me to 2-hit KO the Toxapex. As I go for EQ, he goes for Haze, and I go for EQ again on the following turn. That would be enough to kill a Toxapex. Surprisingly, Quagsire is like kind of not that strong, but after +1, it's kind of strong, so it can actually do things to a Toxapex. That's weird, I don't know. Quagsire is a fun mod. Next up, we have a Charty Berry Zapdos with Sub, Thunderbolt, Signal Beam, and Roost. Thunderbolt Signal Beam hits his entire team neutrally. Signal Beam hits super effectively the Celebi and the Hydreigon. Of course, it doesn't hit the Magneton, but I'm not afraid of Magneton, obviously. Yeah, so Charty Berry on Zapdos allows me to potentially check the Diancie if I want to, and then Sub is just so Toxapex can't Toxic me. So yeah, that's basically Zapdos. It's just Sub, Pressure, Roost, and the 2 attacks. It's just pretty good at staying alive and dealing damage. That's mainly what it's there for. And lastly, we have our Dragon Dance Weakness Policy Zygarde, which is going to be having the 1,000 Arrows, strong move, best move in the game probably at this point, next to Stealth Rock and T-Wave and Scald. You know, the mainstays of draft format now. Alongside that, I have Crunch to hit Celebi, which is his main check, and Superpower to hit both Miltank and Hydreigon. Everything else just gets destroyed by 1,000 Arrows on this team, which is great. So that's going to be what we are doing this game. I decided to lead off with Trevenant because it has the ability to 1v1 everything on his team if played correctly, except for the Monferno, which he didn't end up bringing. So we're just going to lead off with that, and he's going to end up leading off with his Celebi, as you're going to see in a moment. So he's rocking the full Como-O outfit. That's basically an in-game furry. So like, if you guys are into that, definitely go get yourself that Como-O fursuit. So yeah, we have Trev the King here, and we are going to go ahead, just go for the X-Scissor as he gets up his rocks. And yeah, this is going to do a lot of damage. It could have killed if he wasn't max HP, which I suspect he is, considering this damage. Lives in the red. So right here, I don't expect him to stay in. He's not going to do a whole lot of damage to Trevenant. And if he does stay in to try to recover, he's dead. So I'm just going to go for the Sub on the switch out. And I get that correct. So I'm just going to go ahead and Leech Seed. This Miltank get a lot of health back. Leech Seed, just, you know, nice move, especially on a Sub-Seed mon. I can go ahead, get a Leech Seed off, and I can start Horn Leeching, because that's a thing that Trevenant does. And it's just going to be annoying to this Miltank. It revealed Ice Punch, but you're going to see it's going to leave me at about the same amount of health at the end of this turn by getting my Leech Seed and Horn Leech recovery. So Trevenant, just the monster that it is, being annoying. And right here, I kind of expected him to go for another Ice Punch. And I kind of wanted to get into my Bronzong to set up rocks or get a Toxic off on this Miltank, because I realized that I can't really stay in against the Miltank the entire time, because it does have Milk Drink. I can't really do much against it if I'm just sitting here being annoying, so I'm going to get in with my Bronzong, try and get a Toxic on it, and unfortunately he gets in with his Hydreigon. Kind of bad, because now, you know, Bronzong. But I do have the switch into my Audino, and as we are going to see here, we actually are going to be able to see that he has the Taunt, which is great. Taunt means he's not Scarfed, which means if Zygarde gets the +1, I win. As long as I get my weakness policy activated. And because he already showed the Ice Punch on Miltank, that is going to be my target, pretty much. So we are going to go ahead and go for the Dazzling Gleam, because we are taunted and we have basically no drawback by going for it. There's nothing that Hydra would be able to do to Audino, in which it could 2-hit KO us while we 2-hit KO the Hydra in return. So we're just going to show our Dazzling Gleam, let them know that we have it, and we are back in this situation. So Miltank comes in, and I'm going to go hard into my Zapdos here, as he is just going to go for the Ice Punch. like, obviously, taking super effective damage, not the best thing, and I'm going to be left just around half health, but that's fine. I'm just going to roost up off all that damage right away, as he's going to switch out and not want to deal with the Zapdos, probably because he doesn't have Toxic on the set, and we are going to roost up as he brings in his Dugtrio. And right here, I'm just going to fire off a Signal Beam because it's an easy 2-KO against Dugtrio, and if he decides to stay in, it's not really that big of a deal. So he's going to go for the Toxic, and he's going to nail us with that. It's going to start wearing us down, but it's not the biggest of deals, because just Zapdos is just a Pokemon that's meant to do a little bit of damage. It's not super important to the team. It was a soft check to the Diancie. Speaking of Diancie, that's what's coming in right now, to take a Signal Beam. And if he wants to try and Power Gem us, we have the Charty Berry. We can get off massive damage with the Thunderbolt, and we can 2-KO it. And if he decides to go for a different move besides Power Gem first, like if he tries to Calm Mind up, then we can end up killing the Diancie. As you're going to see here, he's actually going to go ahead and go for Gravity. So we are actually going to be able to 2-KO this Diancie as it goes for Power Gem or Diamond Storm, whatever it wants to go for. We're going to Thunderbolt and take down the Diancie to about 30%. It's going to go for the Power Gem, and we are going to take out the Diancie and then end up going down to Toxic, so it's going to end up being a double down. Dugtrio getting credit for the kill on Zapdos, not like the biggest thing you ever see in Draft League ever, because Dugtrio doesn't do that to Zapdos. But yeah, that's going to be the end of Diancie, that's going to be the end of Zapdos, and because Diancie's gone, that's like very good. Biggest check to, like, biggest offensive threat to the entirety of my team gone. And we're going to go in with our Bronzong now. Our main check to the Diancie can now be used however I want it to. And I'm just going to go ahead and go for my Stealth Rock right here. As we get him up, in comes Dugtrio, Gravity's still up. And I have the Shed Shell, like I said, and like this is the exact situation I was waiting for. But because Diancie's already gone, I just decided, look, Bronzong, like, you've basically done your job, so just go ahead, get in there, kill the Dugtrio. You can live in EQ already from where you're at, and unless it's a banded Dugtrio, but banded Toxic seems kind of iffy on a Dugtrio. I'm not quite sure what set he was. So down goes the Dugtrio to Bronzong's Gyro Ball, as you know, it's normally what it does. And because the Miltank had already showed Ice Punch, I figured this was just my time to get in with Zygarde, set up a Dragon Dance, and win. Because he has the Toxapex, which will die at +3 or +2 if I end up going for Superpower early. Hydreigon, which will end up going for Superpower, and then Celebi dies to Crunch, or any move that I go for at this point. So, excuse me, in comes the Zygarde, goes for the Dragon Dance, and he's going to go for the Ice Punch. And our set is going to work out perfectly. He crits us, which is kind of bad, but also not, because he doesn't freeze us. If he froze us, that would have been the worst thing that could have happened, because he would have 2-KO'd us, and the only chance that we would have had at that point was if we thawed. And then at that point, we just had to rely on outstalling him with the remaining 4 Mons that I had, which could have been done because there was a lot of fat there. But doesn't matter, Zygarde is going to be able to clean up this game. Hydreigon is near full, and if it's max HP, which I'm expecting it to be because it had Taunt, 1,000 Arrows wasn't a guaranteed kill, whereas Superpower was, which is why I ended up going for that over 1,000 Arrows, lowering my attack stat by 1 stage, but it's not that big of a deal because Toxapex didn't end up being Shukaberry, and even if it was, I think he would have gone into that first. But he's going to go into it. He said after the game that it was actually eject button, so it's not even that big of a deal. It's gone. So there goes Toxapex, and lastly he has Celebi. So Zygarde getting a 4-0 clean sweep at the end of the game. Woo. So, yeah, that's going to be the game. We are now 2-0. at +9, a 5-0, and now a 4-0 on the season. And that's that. Harlem Gloomtrotters doing our thing. So yeah, that's all I got to say. I need to go lay down, get better, you know, things of that nature. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like on this video and comment down below what your favorite part of the video was. I don't care. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.